Good afternoon, Bhargav. It's Thursday, the 17th of May. Here's the heads up brief for today. For the Southeast Asia production, we covered 18 issues. In North Asia and Australasia and the Pacific Islands, we covered 6 issues each. In South Asia, we covered 13 issues plus the major issues in Europe, Middle East, and Africa.
Thank you there. Please go ahead with the major issues.
Right. So in Papua New Guinea, police are on high alert in Port Moresby for protests today. This is related to controversial comments made by the former foreign minister in which he referred to Papua New Guineans as in racist terms. Now, this comes as the US President Joe Biden has canceled his visit to Papua New Guinea because of debt ceiling issues back in the States. This is a blow to the Asia Pacific outreach that he's been trying to do. Meanwhile, Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be visiting Papua New Guinea during his trip to Japan and Australia also in the coming days.
Right. So it doesn't surprise me that they pull out at the first instance of obstruction back in the US. And US, it is true that US has been trying to grandstand, if I may use that word, in the Pacific region. And this comes as a major blow for such efforts. But China will be rejoicing at this. China always saw US as a nuisance rather than anything else in its own neighborhood. That's South China Sea as well as extended Pacific region. It is interesting that Prime Minister Modi is stepping up it's his foreign policy, and ever since he came to power in 2014, he has followed an active foreign policy, reaching out to some other countries which is considered to be in the periphery for India in terms of its area of influence.
Yeah. Moving over to China, the Chinese National Offshore Oil Corporation announced the successful completion of China's first cross-border yuan-settled LNG trade yesterday. They transported 65,000 tons of LNG from the United Arab Emirates, and this was settled in the yuan.
All right, thank you.
In Indonesia, President Joko Widodo appointed the Minister of Everything, Luhut Panjaitan, as the head of the task force to expedite investment into the new capital, Nusantara. This comes as Jokowi has not managed to gather sufficient investment to move the capital, and this is a flagship project of his, so it doesn't look good.
All right, thank you.
And lastly, in Thailand, the political tensions are intensifying. There's more rumblings amongst senators and different parties about possible coalitions and who the senators will back for the prime ministerial vote. So it's quite messy at the moment.
Yes, we need to track this closely, think how things evolve. We need to see how the military and the police react to such political tensions. This is at the very heart of how the parliament in Thailand is set up and how it is decided who's going to form the government.
Yep. Moving over to South Asia, Bhargav, in Pakistan is more of the same. There's demonstrations planned by the Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf, and this comes on the backdrop of the judiciary going against the state. And the government is trying to remove the Supreme Court justice who claims that he is following the constitution in maintaining the elections on schedule. But his opponents, which is the government, have said that he's supporting Imran Khan and the protests.
This doesn't surprise me. It is like history repeating itself. It's like the ruling governments in Pakistan never learn. Back in 2007, 2008, the political pressure was such that Musharraf tried a similar stunt. He tried to remove the Chief Justice of Pakistan, and then the political pressure mounted and he had to step out. In fact, he went on an exile. So better they learn early than end up being kicked out of the government. So we'll have to see how things evolve. It seems like the stage is more and more conducive for a military intervention or a coup, but Pakistani military has been quite prudent and pragmatic ever since Pervez Musharraf stepped down. So we'll have to watch this quite closely with that.
Right. And in India, Security was heightened along the Odisha-Jharkhand border following calls for a general strike by the Communist Party of India Maoists. Several deployments of the Central Reserve Police Force have been sent to vulnerable areas.
Yes, Chhattisgarh and Jharkhand are two of the states where they have a stranglehold on, especially in the tribal rural areas. And CRPF have been deployed. The troops have been deployed in the two states for decades now, and they haven't been able to cause a major setback to these communist cadres who keep targeting the government establishment and personnel. So we'll see how the strike comes along.
Right. And lastly, in Africa and Nigeria, gunmen attacked a convoy of U.S. embassy vehicles in Anambra State. They're suspected to be separatists. 2 embassy workers and 2 police officers were among the victims. It's unclear whether the embassy staff were American nationals or not, but the U.S. has said that it will increase its security.
I see this as a major escalation. We'll have to observe how the American government reacts to this. They're likely to increase the travel security warning for Nigeria. But overall, this is a major escalation in the fight between the secessionist groups and the government.
Right. Bhargav, that's the read for today. Anything else from you?
Nothing else from you there. Thank you.